Lounge after the show, inside jokes after the show. I said it twice, so it's so good.
You are on it.
I'm so on it. We had such a great show. Allison Dore is here. She's actually known as John Dore's sister. We're not even going to call her by name, right?
No, you can call me JDS. Most people know me.
I love her.
She hosts a radio show where you can occasionally hear John Dore.
It's true.
Does he come on there?
He comes on the show, and sometimes he calls in, and he's also guest hosted with me before.
Is he single?
No.
Oh, okay, because he's smoking hot. John Dore's sister. I just thought I'd go the sister route.
I want you to
know. A lot of people try to go the sister route.
Really?
Yeah.
I started comedy in Ottawa.
John Pare.
I'm not joking. I'm like a legit Facebook friend of John Dore, and I could like totally message him and just say, hey, and he'd be like, hey, what's up? It's like pretty good.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Have you met Allison before?
Yeah,
we started together.
Oh,
We've known each other forever.
Where did you start, like hair padding starting together?
She started before me, but she was like the cool kid in Ottawa. Like she was like a different group. Like I was like just some runty amateur, and she was like already doing comedy, and then you stopped and came back again.
Yeah, I did.
Ottawa's just a comedy factory. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So you see, when did you start? Around what year are we talking?
Oh man, 2000.
Yeah. It's
2002? I don't know.
I was living there then.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Okay, lots of good talent out of Ottawa is what I'm getting at.
Tons.
And you're here now. And what are the qualities you respect in a comic, Allison?
Just in terms of their jokes or in terms of who they are as a person? Just be nice. Just be a nice person.
Their jokes. They're
in terms of their jokes, like I don't know. You know what? My favorite kind of comedy is half smart, half ridiculous, right? So like Dave Chappelle's my favorite because he does social commentary, but then he also will throw in a joke about poop.
Yeah.
Same with South Park. South Park's the
ridiculous,
best because it's it's absurd and super smart.
Yeah, if you can find a balancing edge between dumb and social commentary, I think that's like absolutely the hardest to pull off too. But it's when you see it landed so well, like a Chappelle, but even like a Louis C.K. that kind of thing. When you see it landed, like it's sort of like gymnastics. You see wham, and they land flat, and you're like, "That's amazing." Like,
interesting.
Yeah, because you want to have like that's when somebody has like the audience like putty in their hands. You're weaving them through all this stuff, and they're just coming along with you for all of it.
Yeah. You could do whatever you want, and it's such a nice element of surprise. There's some theater behind it, almost in the way it's presented.
Yeah.
On some of the people you mentioned, anyway.
There's like
if we get technical,
it's like micro. Like if you pay attention to like especially Louis C.K. but Chappelle as well. It's like micro impressions on their faces as they're going through their material that lets you know this is not serious. You know, I'm kind of winking at you in the moment, but it can be saying some of the harsher things, but you just appreciate. And like, you know, if you see Louis C.K. edits his own thing, he actually gets to choose when he gets a close up on the DVD that he's put out.
Yeah.
Like it creates a different effect for the whole thing.
Allison?
Dave Chappelle made me feel so much better because I watch For What It's Worth 80 billion times, and I don't know how to write a joke, and a lot of times I just sell it, and you're
a great storyteller though,
and so I always felt bad about that, but then I realized like one moment in that particular special of Dave Chappelle's is he makes this face in the tiniest noise, and it's the funniest thing ever. And I was like, oh, okay, no, so that is a thing.
Yes.
Like, I'm okay, because I thought I was faking it for years. I was like, everyone thinks I'm a comic, and I'm not. And then now I'm like, oh, okay, no, I get it.
What do you mean by that? Everybody thinks you're a comic, but you're not.
Well, I go up on stage and I talk, and people laugh, you know, I would say at least 70% of the time. But I don't know what I'm doing. And it's been like...
You're one of those super talents who don't write anything down.
No, I write stuff down.
The reverse of me is because I started just writing jokes. That's all I did was write jokes. And I had such a struggle connecting them to who I was or my personality.
Yes.
And it's taken years for me to come to the personality.
Your identity.
You're just like reverse problem. You're like big personality. But you're like, how do I format the jokes? And like, you can get really good at both. You could actually just exist on one alone.
That's right.
But it's like when you master it, it's amazing.
Yeah, what does Dane Cook exist on, do you think? If it's not delivery
physical energy, act outs.
Yeah.
Like,
it's all
people love to slam that dude now, but he actually really ripped open a whole different category of comedy when he came through this. Like even Bill Burr said this, like when he started doing that type of comedy, he was the only one doing that type of comedy.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Like, Bill Burr about himself, or Bill Burr about
Dane Cook? Yeah. They're like, this guy had been killing for a long time, but nobody was doing that style. It was so high energy. Like the physical act outs were incredible commitments. Everyone, it was like, he's the Boston scene, and all those guys were, up on the mic, and they would stand there and lean in and talk about social commentary. And this guy's like humping a stool,
but
it still works.
Yeah.
So it's all physical,
Yeah, and I mean, if you're feeling like, him in particular is easy to slam for sure, especially for other comics. But if he's doing what he does and he's filling up Madison Square Garden, it's like
Andy Kindler. I know when I've interviewed Andy Kindler a couple of times now, and when again Dane Cook comes up, I don't know, mysteriously always comes up when Andy's not a huge fan, and even I, it's funny. And I saw he's been in town recently, and I saw some banter on social media about him, so that's why I wanted to bring him up, because he's so polarizing in terms of how people view. We can't argue his success, but at the same time, it goes back to comedy being so subjective, right? Like, and the Canadian Comedy Awards were just released, and we have the winners, and then we were talking about it on the show today on Inside Jokes, how it's like sometimes people argue, like, how did that person win? But
well, I mean, okay, you got the list, right?
Yes, I've got the list.
I'm just going to say it. This is literally, there's all this controversy. I'll tell you one thing I was happy about with this whole awards thing is they had Comedic Artist of the Year, and there's a dude named Just Rain on it, and he's a Vine Instagram, social media.
Yeah.
And the whole idea is like the social media comedy aspect, and like, no, I hate this. I hate that you don't have to put anything on the line, that you don't put yourself in a concept of real-time interaction with the audience.
It's edited.
And take zero chance. And then we give you praise for doing something in a box. You don't belong in the same category as a stand-up, a sketch, and improv.
This comes up all the time on the show every week.
And now they're doing festivals, right? Like, I got into a big thing a couple of years ago when here at JFL 42 they had Miranda Sings was one of the headliners.
That's
and I was like, what the fuck is it?
Yeah, and she bombed horribly, and everyone knew that.
Do you know what?
Don't do that. The year I did Just for Laughs, they had a girl come in, and she had like 10 million views on YouTube of like a 6-minute clip, and they were like, this is going to be huge. They booked her to do an hour. She couldn't do that, and she got canceled 2 shows in. And Kindler brought it up in his State of the Union address. It's like slammed it. Yeah. They're like, you've got to understand. Like, yes, you've got the views, but you don't have the content. And I'm not sitting here trying to just beat up Just Rain. I'm just saying it's not the same thing.
Okay, so here's the thing. There should be categories for best social media, or best Instagram, or best Snapchat. Like, we're there now.
Because those are new tools, and that's true.
Hey, it's all part of our scene. At JFL this year, I see Russell Peters, one of the world's grossing comics. We can't argue that. He's with Just Rain, and Just Rain is teaching him Snapchat. And Russell's talking about it. The bigger comics, they're getting this, and like, we have to go in that direction. And I hear this all the time, Dom. You're not the only one, and I'm looking forward to hearing what Allison has to say about it. About how do you feel about the social media kind of stars and how they translate?
Well, you know what? I think it is problematic in terms of a festival because they're doing short clips, and then when you do give them an hour show, also they have 10 million views, but those 10 million views are often people all around the world. So you're going to have people in that audience that don't know what they do, that are there for the festival,
and it's just something that might not translate to a live forum,
and so I almost feel like it's equally unfair to them.
Yeah.
But in terms of like, there's no denying a lot of them are comedians, that their videos have a comedic bent, that they're it is, but it is I think live performance should probably be a separate category than a video performance.
Well, I mean, festivals especially, because they're obviously their MO at the end of the day is to sell tickets. Like, I mean, we've had Lena Dunham come and do like a monologue for an hour, or read shit from her new book, right, on a comedy festival. It's like, because she has a hit TV show, so they're going to do that, right? Same thing with like the YouTubers and stuff.
Yes. So I think in all fairness, I mean, because this I hear this a lot from comics who on this whole social media topic. So we're going to have a social media expert come in the next couple of weeks on our show and talk about its relationship with comedy and how comedians use it, and how people who aren't comedians who are kind of entering into this genre, and we're going to keep asking the question, does it help comics? Does it not help?
I think you should, if you're going to do that, you should probably bring in some of the bigger social media players. I mean, bring in Mike Rita. The guy understands how to promote himself on social media. He's solid. He's solid on it on every level.
Yes.
Yeah.
and he chooses themes and beats them up and really goes at it. I'm like, yeah, if you're gonna have a social media person in here, you should talk to Mike Rado.
We've had Mike on a while ago,
but I want to get him.
Bring him back.
We're gonna do like
as we talk about this,
because
this show and the radio show is about a platform for comedy and developing it and kind of moving things forward in for ourselves in this business. So thanks to our guest Allison Dore. You're just so awesome on your own without your brother. Listen, I have a funny brother too. He's not a big kid, but I'm the little sister, and for the longest time, when you're a little sister, you're just a little sister.
No, yeah, I've been the little sister my whole life, but
you're an awesome
star.
I
went to therapy for a long time, and I'm cool with it.
Billy Baldwin. What'd you say? Or
I'm Steven.
Oh, you're Steven Baldwin.
I'm the little weird.
You're
one.
not even Billy Baldwin. You're Steven Baldwin.
Well, I think I've moved up to Billy. I'll be honest with you, or at least Daniel.
Daniel's in Toronto too much.
Is it wrong that I've lost track of the Baldwins?
I know.
One of them was in Sirius last week. I don't know which one.
Billy was
Alec. Okay.
Yeah, it was Billy.
Yes,
was it Alec or the church?
Yeah, hi. I know Allison, and Allison's brother is John Dore. So.
Listen to Inside Jokes each week on AM 640 Sunday nights at 8 o'clock on iTunes or Omni.fm. Thank you, producer Vince Tedesco, Dino Youngo, Allison Dore, and Don Pare. I touch everybody. And Tevin and Kevin, and Tevin versus Tevin versus
Kenny versus Spenny.
No, Tevin versus Tom. And we had Spencer Rice of Kenny versus Spenny. Spencer Rice.
Wrap it up, Sandra. Wrap it up.
Is a musician too. You can check him out. I'm Sandra Carusi. Thanks for listening on Sandra versus Sandra.